So what's up people and welcome to the chapter 39 discussion of Kaiju Hachiko or Monster number 8. So chapter 39 came out a few days ago, and as always I will leave a link to this chapter that's currently being shown on the publisher's official website, Manga Plus, for free to the North American audience. So if you're interested, yeah, go take a look at it. Okay, so chapter 39 was an interesting chapter. It didn't revolve around Kafka, and in fact it revolved around Kikoru Shinomiya. And this was a very interesting chapter. It was really nice to have because we could actually get some depth into some of the other characters besides Kafka. And the way the author portrayed her in this chapter was very nice. The chapter starts out where Shinomiya finds out that her dad basically pulled back on the execution of Kafka, and they were going to detain him for further observation. And of course that made her a lot happier, but at the same time she understood that because Kafka showed a dangerous side to him, she felt that eventually if he did lose control, then she would be the one that would have to take him out. And to do so, she would have to become a lot stronger. And this contrast between the happiness that she saw in Kafka being saved, but the worry that she had in Kafka eventually turning into a monster gave her a complexity that you often don't see in these female support characters that come out in many of these action shonen type mangas, right? A lot of times they're kind of there for fan service, and they're oftentimes somewhat one-dimensional, right? They're often a tsundere sort of character, or they're very faithful to the main character. But Shinomiya gives a much more complex personality. She doesn't really have a romantic relationship with the main character, but she does have a very strong friendship. But at the same time, she is extremely dedicated to being a JDF soldier, and she understands the duties that come with that. And so there often can be a conflict between her friendship with Kafka and the commitments that she has made for the JDF. And that gives her a lot more depth than you would have originally expected from a character that in the beginning felt like a tsundere standard formulistic character. And so I'm really liking how Matsumoto Sensei is bringing up and developing other characters besides Kafka. Now the rest of the chapter we find out that she has been transferred from the 3rd division to the 1st division so that she can continue to train and become stronger. And in this chapter we are introduced to another character named Eiji Hasegawa, who is the vice commander of the 1st division unit. So he would be the 1st division counterpart to Vice Commander Hoshina in the 3rd division. And we don't get too much of a character depth introduction yet, but it is interesting that we are starting to see some of the other characters in the 1st division. And of course we also get reintroduced to the division captain, Gen Narumi. And originally in the last video I mentioned that Narumi looked like one of those straight by the books sort of characters, a captain who really goes by whatever process is due. But what we find out in chapter 39 is I was completely wrong with that, because Narumi is very much a otaku, a nerd sort of character when he is away from battle. And so we start learning about this character, and there is a very interesting relationship between Eiji and Narumi, and it goes into some very interesting comedy sort of interactions. And so we wonder how Commander Narumi ever got to that commander position, considering he is such a kind of a dweeb, when he's away from battle. But of course we find out immediately when a battle ensues with another monster attack. And oh my gosh, we do find out why he is the commander of the strongest division in the JDF. Because he literally single-handedly wipes out a giant monster by himself. And Kikoru Shinomiya, who was originally wondering what she got into, realizes just how impressive her new boss is. And so this was a very interesting transition chapter for Shinomiya, and will be very interesting to see just what comes out of her training with the First Division. But I got a feeling maybe we'll pan off from that and we'll see either other characters or go back to Kafka as we keep on going. But it is interesting to see how Matsumoto Sensei is developing the story, and I am looking forward to seeing what happens in chapter 40 because we are seeing some major changes going on in the story's plot. But anyway, that was chapter 39's discussion for Kaiju Hachiko or Monster Number 8. And once chapter 40 comes out, I'll bring up another video and I hope you join me at that time. And until then, happy manga reading, and as always, Jai nice day everyone.